Hi everyone, I'm Catherine, the artist behind Bigelow Fine Arts. This video series is to celebrate my 100th video this year. I wanted to celebrate this milestone with a free coloring page and a color along for that page. So make sure you head down to the show notes for the link on Patreon and grab your page to color along with me. The download is for personal use and is free, but if you like what I do and want to support me there, that would be so awesome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. This is the best and cheapest way to support me. Hear more about freebies like this, and you get to join in and color along with me. I'm starting the second flower today, and chances are it will get worked up a little differently from the first flower since I can't remember exactly what I did. I'm coming in with a base layer of the light chrome yellow over the outer petals. I'm keeping a light hand, but I am putting down a uniform layer over the whole petal, not accounting for shadows or highlights. The light layer I am putting on now will act as part of the highlight with other colors added over top. For the inner petals, I want to come in with the dark cadmium yellow and add in a uniform base layer over all of them, as well as any places where the petals curl up. For the center, I begin with the yellow lemon to add in a base layer. Then I come in with the leaf green over top, but in a more circular scribbling motion. I don't want to fill in the center with solid green. Instead, I want a few places to be lighter and act as little bits of highlight peeking out. Back to the center petals. I am coming in with the dark cadmium orange and blocking in all of the shadows. It is sometimes easier to block in the shadows with the dark color rather than jumping in with sepia, as it is a little more forgiving. Plus, this lets me fill in the tooth of the paper gradually, not that it actually fills in like I want it to. I now come in with my mid-tone color, the orange glaze, and add in another layer over the dark cadmium orange, but to also move the blended edge out just a little more from the shadow and soften the leading edge. I blend the edge up even further with the dark cadmium yellow, adding in a light layer over the tip. Enough to add in a layer of color, but not enough to darken it up too much. And now I am coming in with the sepia to block in the shadows. Since I know where they will be, I can go through and lightly block them in quickly. I will come through again and darken them up as I go through with my different layers. Next, I come in with the magenta to start the process of darkening up the shadows even more. I'm not sure if this is helping fill in the paper better, but it doesn't hurt. If you've made it this far and have enjoyed coloring with me or just watching me, I'd appreciate it if you give me a like and subscribe to stay informed of when I post more videos. It really helps me out. I'm posting 3 times a week over the summer, and subscribing is the best way to stay in the loop and keeps me going. It is also the best way to stay informed of when I might have another freebie available. Now on to the outer petals. I come in with a dark cadmium yellow to begin blocking in where some of the shadows will go, as well as just parts of the petals that are slightly darker shade of yellow. Once I have that finished, I come through with the sepia and block in the shadows in a light layer where I think they are needed, and this should line up with where I placed most of the dark cadmium yellow earlier. I come in with the cream and blend out the parts of the petals where I feel there will be a highlight. For the most part, I blend out most of the petal because the cream isn't going to darken up the color, but it does help blend. I touch up a spot I missed with the sepia before moving on to the magenta to go through and darken up the shadows on the outer petals. Coming in with the orange glaze, I add in more over the shadow areas and lightly blend the orange away from the shadows and into the lighter areas to make sure the colors transition more smoothly. With the pink Madder Lake, I want to go through and add in some pink details around the edges of some of the larger outer petals, just to give it a little something more. This is totally optional. These flowers would look perfectly fine without a touch of pink. I darken up the petal edge with a little more purple pink, so the color stands out just a little more, appearing to fade into the yellow. I can now go through and blend out the transition I just worked on using light chrome yellow. I don't need to go into the shadow with the yellow, but I do want to make sure the transition is as smooth as I can get it. I touch up the bottom of the petals with more dark cadmium orange. I am focusing on just above the darkest part of the shadows and blending it up. I am focused on refining my colors at this point since I have all the colors in place, but they are still light. So I am darkening and refining. More sepia, and this time I am making it dark. I want the contrast to be much higher to really help the flower stand out more. I hit the center of the flower with a little leaf green as it was beginning to look a little pale. I added the color in circular scribbles again. More dark cadmium yellow as I work on more blending and more filling in the tooth of the paper. I have been trying to build up the layers to fill in the tooth, but it is slightly slower going. I'm coming back to the smaller inner petals and adding in some magenta to darken up the shadows at the base of the small petals. I blend that out with some orange glaze, moving the color up the petal a little more. I fill in the bottom of the petals again with more dark cadmium orange. As I keep going, filling in the paper and trying to make sure the color gradient from the base to the tip appears to be smooth. I blend out the outer petals again with more light chrome yellow before coming in with the sepia to really darken up the shadows and make things pop even more. It really is about the contrast. I was going to call it done there, but after looking at it for a little bit, I decided to come back in with more magenta and give the shadows another touching up, and I think it was a good call. I'm now calling it done for now, and I'm going to move on to the speed coloring portion for the other picture. I'm planning on posting a longer video just for the other side, but it will only be on Patreon for those who like that kind of thing. That way I don't have 2 video series up for the same thing. Thanks for joining me on this 100th video series. Let me know below or on social media if you downloaded the free coloring page and if you colored along. I'd love to know how you did. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, MeWe, and Patreon. Patreon has a short write-up, my palettes, and a list of the timestamps, and I've made them available for everyone. If you have any questions or page requests, please leave them below or reach out to me on social media. I put in a list of chapter breaks in the show notes, as well as a list of equipment I like to use. If you use any of my affiliate links, it really helps me out without costing you a thing. I want to thank you all so much for coming along and joining in with me on this coloring journey. I appreciate all my subscribers and look forward to more of you joining in and coloring along with me. Please like, share, and subscribe to help that happen. Until next time, happy coloring.